I think there's this thing that we like saying right now that it's a good time to be actually a poet in this country. Hello everyone, Ramatswi. Other people know me as Soetry, which is now Soetry Media, which is the company that I actually have for my artworks, which is like poetry, literature and theater performances. So yeah, I'm a poet, writer, translator for English and Sepedi. I also do theater and I'm also like a songwriter, because anything that actually involves writing, I'm there, I'm your guy. So yeah, I love poetry. It's like the blood of everything that I do, and that's what actually got me here to this very interview that I have here. Starting, I would say we started in the context of slam being like competition, right? We used to look up to Abo Zewande Bengu, Kabisovili, and with those people, it led us into like these spaces, and then we learned that there's more to poetry than actually competition. That's when we went into theater and productions, and now we can mention people like Anthony Anakzagori, who is one of my favorite writers. We have Sipokas Jonas, who does amazing work. The work is actually even on Showmax, which is a short film, poetry. So like having those be seen is actually amazing things to actually get to look forward to. In terms of the state of poetry, I think there's this thing that we like saying right now that it's a good time to be actually a poet in this country, because amazing things are happening. I mean, for example, I know that I'm making a living out of poetry right now, meaning that it pays my rent, it buys my clothes. Literally everything that I have here is bought by poetry money, like literally. And then what is poetry money? Poetry money, I mean, like not only that I have to always be on stage to get money, but it's a thing of having projects as well, whereby you are able to generate money in projects and curations. So we can see and find poets now in short films, in the writing departments, of course, and we can also find them in copywriting, like Tepo, for example, Moria, and in the advertising markets. So it's a very good time to be a poet right now, and the opportunities have been like more and more. We can speak of like Hear My Voice, CSP, Poetry Africa, which are the platforms that are always having things more and more. So there's always a space out there that is ready to accommodate you, whether even if you're still starting. So I think that's why even in the country currently, for the World Slam, South Africa is the reigning champion, as we have Kabisovili, who actually is the reigning champion, who won last year.
I walk like a blind man cursing the sting of day, rising to catch light with palms instead of with eyes. And I follow, my palm reaching for a brother, a sun burning out in his furnace. Follow the sound of his footsteps and mistaking it for calm. I take a step and my feet burn in his footsteps. I'm closer to being someone's son than my own. And in this I learn that my mind is a fog, and I forget about the pinch of light and the wisdom that his light may sometimes be my demise. I'm a blind man following another in hope that they see better than I. But if I am to be lost this way, I will lose also my solitude. But it is better to be blind and lost in the company of the shadow of your blood than alone in the vastness of no knowledge. I've seen beings search with their eyes wide open, only to pass parts of themselves leaning on their mistakes, the parts they claim to be in need of. But of course they are in need of them. They just can't see. I myself can't see or cease to walk like a blind man cursing the sting of day. But let it be known that I'm a man blind in mind, and like my kind I carve my lack of sight into a learning experience, and blindness is not always the inability to see. It is knowing when to open your eyes when your body is ready for the hunger of finding itself. But for now, I will follow. And I take note that following a lost soul makes me a lost soul, but in this I learn to be lost before I am found. I learn to become others before I become more of myself. Because we are all everyone before we are more of ourselves. And we carry everyone on our way to finding what we are made of. And in this I learned that memories are people. And that people are memories. And that memories are why we are never alone. And I walk like a blind man cursing this thing of day. Rising to find myself.
On social media, on Facebook, I am Solly, Solly, Ramatswi, Ramatswi. And then the page for our company is Soetry Media. And then on Instagram, you can find me as @Soetry_SA, and on Twitter as well. And then for emails, mrsoetry@gmail.com. So I'm responsive there.